Ma'am, step away from the vehicle.
I'm sorry, what?
I said step away. Now, this your car?
Yes, it's mine. I can show you the registration if
Huh,
you can.
okay, sure. Just wait here, officer. I really need to get home. I haven't done
You
anything
don't
wrong.
get to decide.
Officer David Hutchins had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 14 hours, he would lose his badge, he would face a federal lawsuit, and he would cost his city $675,000. The woman he just put in handcuffs was federal judge Keisha Langford. She was appointed by the president. She had ruled on over 400 cases. Many of them were about police treating people unfairly. And his dashcam caught every single word. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been treated like you don't belong, like you have to prove you deserve to be where you are? Drop your answer in the comments, because this story is about that feeling and what happens when the wrong person causes it. Officer Hutchins had no idea who he just put in handcuffs. Her name was Keisha Langford. She was a federal judge, not a state judge, a federal judge. That means she was appointed by the President of the United States. The Senate voted to confirm her. Every single senator said yes. She went to Harvard Law School. She graduated in 1998. After that, she spent 12 years as a federal prosecutor. That means she put criminals in prison for a living. Then in 2016, she became a judge. But here is the part that matters most. Judge Langford was an expert in civil rights cases. She knew the law about unfair police stops better than almost anyone. She had ruled on over 40 cases about officers stopping people for no good reason. Other lawyers called her the Constitution's guardian. She also taught classes at a law school. Her subject was the Fourth Amendment. That is the part of the Constitution that protects people from unfair searches and stops. She lived in this neighborhood for 15 years. She shopped at this store every Saturday. The employees knew her by name. Now here is what makes this story even more painful. On this day, Judge Langford was just trying to put groceries in her car, a car she owned, in a parking lot she had used hundreds of times before. Officer David Hutchins had a pattern, and it was not a good one. He was 34 years old. He had been a cop in San Diego for 8 years. He worked in La Jolla. That is one of the richest neighborhoods in the city. Here is what his file showed: 7 complaints in 4 years. Every single one involved the same thing. He stopped black people in nice neighborhoods, people who lived there, people who belonged there. In 2021, he stopped a black real estate agent. The agent was showing a house to a family. Hutchins thought she looked suspicious. The family filed a complaint. Nothing happened. In 2022, he stopped a black surgeon. The doctor was walking his dog at 6 in the morning. Hutchins demanded to see his ID. The doctor filed a complaint. Hutchins said his body camera broke. Nothing happened. In 2023, he questioned a black woman sitting in her own car. She was parked outside her own house. She filed a complaint. Nothing happened. 3 different complaints said the same thing. Witnesses heard Hutchins say the person didn't look like they belonged there. His bosses knew about the pattern. They told him to take more training, twice, but they never actually made him do it. Let me know in the comments, how many complaints should it take before an officer gets fired, because 7 was not enough. But wait, this time would be different. This time, he picked the wrong person. It was Saturday, March 15th, 2024. The time was 2:47 in the afternoon. The weather was nice, sunny and 72 degrees, a normal Saturday in La Jolla. Judge Langford arrived at the Whole Foods at 2:15. She parked in her usual spot near the cart return. She spent about 30 minutes shopping. She bought $127 worth of groceries. Her receipt was stamped at 2:41. Then she walked to her car, a black Mercedes E-Class. She had owned it for 6 years. It was parked in the same spot she always used. She opened the trunk. She started loading her bags. That is when Officer Hutchins drove into the parking lot. He was on regular patrol. There were no calls about any crimes, no reports of stolen cars, nothing. He saw Judge Langford at her car. He parked about 30 feet away, then he got out and walked toward her. He did not say hello, he did not say good afternoon. His first words were an order. "Ma'am, step away from the vehicle." The store's security cameras were recording. They had clear video and audio. At least 12 customers were in the parking lot. Some of them would become very important witnesses. If stories like this matter to you, hit that subscribe button, because what happened next will make you angry. Hutchins walked up to Judge Langford with his hand near his belt. "Step away from the vehicle," he said again. "This is my car," she replied. "I can show you the registration. It's in the glove box." "Don't reach into that vehicle." "Okay, can you tell me what I'm suspected of doing?" "I'm asking the questions here." Judge Langford stayed calm. She gave him her name. She told him she lived 3 blocks away. She offered to prov. "Weird." Hutchins did not check. He did not call it in. He just stood there. "Can I have your badge number?" she asked. "You don't need that, just cooperate." "I am cooperating. I haven't done anything wrong." "That's not for you to decide." 10 minutes into this stop, nothing had changed. He had no reason to hold her, but he would not let her go. "Put your hands on the vehicle," Hutchins said. "Am I being detained?" "You're making this difficult." "I'm asking a simple question, officer." Then Hutchins reached for his handcuffs. "Officer, I'm a federal judge. I'm asking you to stop." He laughed. He actually laughed. "Sure you are, hands behind your back, now." He put the handcuffs on her. He put her in the back of his patrol car. A woman named Elena Rodriguez was watching. She yelled out, "What is he doing?" She was just putting groceries away. A man named Michael Torres pulled out his phone. He started recording. A store employee named James Park ran inside to get the manager. None of that mattered to Hutchins. He had made up his mind. He thought she did not belong there, and nothing she said would change that. Type justice in the comments if you think what he did was wrong, because it gets worse. The store manager came running out. His name was Marcus Chen. "Officer, I know this woman," he said. "She shops here every single week." Hutchins did not care. "Sir, step back. This doesn't concern you." Michael Torres walked closer with his phone still recording. "Officer, she said she's a federal judge. Did you even check?" "Everyone claims to be somebody. Back up." But something finally made Hutchins stop. Maybe it was all the witnesses. Maybe it was the phones recording him. Maybe he just got nervous. At 3:12, he finally ran her name. That was 25 minutes after he first stopped her. 25 minutes of holding a woman for putting groceries in her own car. The radio crackled. The dispatcher's voice came through clear. "Keisha Langford, federal judge, Southern District of California, no warrants, no flags, vehicle registered to her address." There was a long silence. Hutchins' whole body language changed. He walked to his patrol car. He opened the back door. "Ma'am, I apologize for the confusion." Judge Langford looked at him. "Please remove the handcuffs." He took them off at 3:14. Her wrists were sore. She had been in cuffs for over 20 minutes. The witnesses did not stay quiet. Elena Rodriguez told officers she watched the whole thing. She was calm the entire time. He never gave her a chance to explain. Michael Torres said, "I have it all on video." He laughed when she said she was a judge. He laughed. James Park from the store said, "She has been shopping here for years. Everyone knows her. He didn't even ask us." By now there were 4 different recordings. The dashcam from the patrol car, Michael Torres' phone, another customer's phone, and the store's security camera. Every angle showed the same thing. A calm woman, an aggressive officer, no crime, no reason for the stop. At 3:31, a supervisor arrived. Her name was Sergeant Patricia Vega. She reviewed the dashcam footage right there in the parking lot. Her face went pale. She called the chief of police immediately. Judge Langford refused to accept an informal apology. She asked for the badge numbers of everyone there. Then she said 5 words that changed everything. "I will be filing a formal complaint." She called her lawyer from the parking lot. Here is the twist that makes this story unforgettable. In exactly 9 hours, Officer Hutchins had a hearing scheduled. It was about his pattern of complaints, and guess whose desk that hearing landed on? Let me know in the comments if you saw that coming. By 4 p.m. that same day, Officer Hutchins was placed on leave. That means he could not work while they looked into what happened. By 6 p.m., the chief of police called Judge Langford personally. He apologized on behalf of the whole department. But the real consequences were just starting. Internal Affairs opened an investigation. That is the department that looks into bad officers. A detective named Angela Morrison took the case. She reviewed all the footage, she interviewed all the witnesses, and she pulled Hutchins' complete file. What she found was ugly. Hutchins told investigators he stopped Judge Langford because she matched the description of a suspect. That was a lie. There was no suspect description. There was no report of a stolen car. There was no call about any crime in the area. He said she was acting suspicious around the vehicle. The footage showed her calmly loading grocery bags with a receipt in her hand. He said she refused to cooperate. The audio proved she offered her ID, her registration, and an explanation, multiple times. Every single thing Hutchins said was false, and it was all on tape. Then Detective Morrison found something worse. Hutchins' 7 complaints all followed the same pattern: black residents in nice areas, no actual crime. Just a cop who decided they did not belong. His supervisor, Sergeant Vega, had signed off on no action needed twice. She knew about the pattern. She did nothing. The next morning was Sunday. Hutchins had a hearing at 9 a.m. He expected to face an internal review board, just his bosses asking questions. But this case was different. The victim was a federal judge. That made it a civil rights matter. That meant federal oversight. When Hutchins saw the name of the official overseeing the federal review, his face went white. Judge Keisha Langford. She recused herself, of course. That means she stepped aside because she was involved, but not before Hutchins saw her name on that document. The decision came fast. Hutchins was fired effective immediately. Sergeant Vega was demoted and put on probation. The chief issued a public statement admitting systemic failures. On Monday morning, Judge Langford filed her lawsuit. She named Hutchins, the department, and the city. The charges were serious: violation of the 4th Amendment, that protects people from unfair stops; violation of the 14th Amendment, that guarantees equal treatment under the law. If you think this story should be told, hit subscribe, because the fallout was just beginning. By 5 p.m. on Saturday, Michael Torres uploaded his video to Twitter. By 7 p.m., it had 50,000 views. The comments were exploding. By 10 p.m., the video was trending in San Diego. Local news stations picked it up. By midnight, it had 2.3 million views. By Sunday morning, it was national news. CNN ran it, MSNBC ran it, Fox ran it. Everyone was talking about it. The final numbers were huge. On Twitter alone, the video got 4.7 million views. It was shared 89,000 times. On TikTok, different versions got 12 million views combined. On YouTube, news channels got over 3 million views. The comments told the real story. One person wrote, "He laughed when she said she was a judge, the disrespect." Another said, "This is what black people deal with every day. She just happened to have power." A third comment hit hardest. "Imagine if she wasn't a judge. Imagine if she was just a regular person. Would anyone even care?" Someone else pointed out the obvious: 7 complaints, 7, and he was still working. Local newspapers put it on the front page. The Los Angeles Times ran a story called "Federal Judge Detained While Loading Groceries." The Washington Post called it the traffic stop that exposed a pattern. The police department put out a statement. They said they were committed to accountability. Hutchins deleted all his social media. His lawyer told him to say nothing. But the damage was done. Millions of people had seen what happened. They had seen him laugh at a federal judge. They had seen him ignore every chance to do the right thing. Share this video if you think more people should see stories like this. Comment below with your reaction, because the legal battle was about to get expensive. On Wednesday after the arrest, the city got official notice. Judge Langford was suing. The amount she wanted, $30 million. The lawsuit named 3 defendants: Officer David Hutchins personally, the San Diego Police Department, and the City of San Diego. The claims were serious. She said Hutchins violated her Fourth Amendment rights. That means he stopped her without any legal reason. She said he violated her 14th Amendment rights. That means he treated her differently because of her race. Then came the discovery process. That is when lawyers dig into records and files. What they found made things worse for the city. They got Hutchins' complete complaint history. All 7 complaints became public. Internal emails showed that supervisors knew about the pattern. They discussed concerns about his behavior. Then they did nothing. Training records showed the department knew about racial bias warning signs. They had the information. They ignored it. 4 more victims came forward, all black, all stopped in nice neighborhoods, all treated like they did not belong. The city tried to settle quickly. Their first offer was $150,000. Judge Langford said no. Their second offer was $400,000. She said no again. Her lawyer made their position clear. This isn't about money, it's about accountability. The case took 8 months. Here is what happened in the end. The city paid $675,000. That was the largest settlement in San Diego police history for an unfair stop. But money was not the only consequence. The settlement required the department to change. They had to create new training programs. They had to build a better system for tracking complaints. They had to look for patterns earlier. Hutchins was done as a cop. He was decertified. That means he can never work as a police officer anywhere in California again. Sergeant Vega was demoted. She had to complete mandatory training. She was put on probation for 3 years. The federal government assigned a monitor to watch the department. For 2 years, an outside official would make sure they followed the rules. The district attorney looked at criminal charges, but the law made it hard. To charge a cop with a civil rights crime, you have to prove he acted willfully. That is a very high bar. No criminal charges were filed. Judge Langford publicly said that standard was inadequate. Hutchins never apologized. His lawyer said he was following standard procedures. People online mocked that statement. The video showed there was nothing standard about what he did. Judge Langford gave part of her settlement money to a civil rights legal defense fund. She wanted to help people who did not have her resources. She said something that stuck with a lot of people. I had visibility and power. Most people who experience this do not. In November 2024, Judge Langford held a press conference. She stood on the steps of the federal courthouse in San Diego. She talked about what it felt like. I have spent my career believing in the system, she said. That day tested that belief. She described the moment the handcuffs closed. It is a feeling designed to break you, to humiliate you, to make you feel small. She pointed out something important. Her position protected her. Things could have been much worse. I have ruled on dozens of cases about unfair stops. I knew the law, I knew my rights, and it still happened to me. Then she asked the question that matters most. Imagine being 22 years old, no law degree, no platform, no one who will believe you. Imagine not knowing your rights. What happens to that person? She had a message for anyone who has been through something similar. If this has happened to you, you are not alone, you are not wrong, and you deserve justice. Document everything, get witnesses, do not let them tell you it did not happen. She also spoke to police officers. The badge is not permission to profile. The uniform is not authority to humiliate. Most officers serve with honor, but silence about the bad ones makes everyone look guilty. She said what she wanted to see change: federal laws that track complaint patterns, automatic reviews after 3 similar complaints, community oversight boards with real power. She thanked the witnesses who recorded. She thanked the store employees who spoke up. She thanked her lawyers. Her final words were powerful. "I did not get justice because I deserved it more than anyone else. I got it because I had power they could not ignore. That is the problem." This case is not just about one bad cop. The numbers show a bigger problem. Studies show black drivers get stopped 20% more often than white drivers. Black people are almost 4 times more likely to be arrested for the same behavior. In San Diego specifically, black residents are 6% of the population, but they make up 26% of stops in wealthy areas. Judge Langford had money, knowledge, and attention. Most victims have none of those things. So let me ask you, should it take being a federal judge to get justice for an unfair stop? Should 7 complaints be ignored before someone finally faces consequences? Should the color of your skin decide whether you belong in your own neighborhood? Because if we do not fix these systems, if we do not demand better, then we are just waiting for the next Officer Hutchins, the next parking lot, the next person in handcuffs for doing nothing wrong. Comment below if you think $675,000 was not enough, if you think there should have been criminal charges. If you believe stories like this need to be told, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We are going to keep exposing these patterns. We are going to keep demanding accountability. We are going to keep fighting for people who do not have the power to fight for themselves. This is not just about one officer or one judge. It is about all of us. It is about the kind of country we want to live in. It is about whether we accept this or demand better. See you in the next one.